Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we are brought here today on claims that my defendants, Michael and Alexa Morgan, have been charged with murder over the tragic deaths of Candy and Johnny Smith. I'm here to tell you that the only thing my clients are guilty of is wanting the same justice brought down to the actual culprits of this case. The Morgans are just like you and me. We were all devastated to hear how hard the protest ended and how terrible it was. It's never anyone with the right sense of thought to want such tragedy to take place. So why would the Morgans show such violence now when they don't have a previous case of anything remotely close to these actions? I'm confident that after you hear all the facts behind this case today and see the little support and evidence the prosecution has on my defendants, you will see that this probably shouldn't even have gone to trial. You'll know as well as I do that the Morgans are not responsible for this. Now, not too long ago in this area, back in October of last year, there was a shooting that caused harm to so many young adults from the Texas A&M University Commerce area. And we were all devastated. Again, we never wanted something to happen like this, but it did back in June. But going back to this other case, they rushed to find the suspect. And you know what? It turned out that Brandon Gonzalez wasn't even the real guy. And I want y'all to understand, it's happening right here too. They rushed to find someone, to frame someone, to actually have something to give. But I don't believe it's my defendants. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you take anything I say with any regards to my opening statement for the rest of this case, is to please listen to the truth. Listen to the facts that these people speak and understand that we all want justice for the Smiths. But this right here isn't it. I'm confident that everyone will see that my defendants cannot be found guilty without a reasonable doubt once the testimonies are made. Everyone will know exactly that Michael and Alexa Morgan are innocent. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. Could you possibly state your name to the courtroom and let us know your relevance to this case right now?
My name is Lauren Thomas. I'm a college student who attended the Black Lives Matter protest.
And how did you hear about this protest?
I heard about it through social media. I live in Caddo Mills, and it looked interesting and a good way to voice my opinion and concerns, so I decided to go.
All right, that's really nice to know. Could you tell us what time you got to this event and what was going on when you got there?
I got there around 11:45 in the morning. I saw several other protesters as well. I do remember seeing Candy and Johnny throughout the event.
Okay, and you didn't know the Smiths beforehand, so what made them stick out to you a bit?
They seemed to stick out since they both had signs and were together near where I was. And I like to keep an eye on me and my surroundings in big crowds. It makes me feel safe.
Well, yeah, that's good to know. And could you, let's see, skip a little further to when things started to pick up, when this all happened?
So it was close to 125 when we were close to Lee and Johnson Street on that intersection. Then a shot was fired and everyone started running everywhere. It got very hectic. I tried not panicking, but it can be very hard when something like that happens, especially with how that crowd was getting. I saw the Smiths trying to get away, and it was again easy to see them because they were still close to me. They were holding hands. I saw them get hit and it was awful. It was hard to see the car, but it didn't look like the one that people kept saying that it was. I was right in front of it.
Okay, so you're saying it wasn't the Morgans? It didn't look like the Morgans at all?
No.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor. Yes. Hello, Mr. Jerry Shaw. Could you please tell the courtroom what was going on June 15th of this year in Greenville, Texas, and your association to the event that took place that day?
Well, on that day, there were two protests. There was the Black Lives Matter protest, and then there was the anti-Black Lives Matter protest, which that's the side I was on.
And when did you see the defendants in question at this event, sir?
When I got there around 12:15, because I just eaten lunch. So, yeah, at 12:15 whenever I got there.
And how were you able to tell it was them?
Well, about a couple weeks ago, I had to help them load some lumber into their car, and at my job at Home Depot.
Okay, so you were able to tell it was them off the bat pretty quick, huh?
Yes, I recognized them pretty quickly.
All right. Oh, around what time did you remember seeing them leave?
Well, I remember because I just checked my watch and it was 1:10.
Okay, and what direction were they going in, if you don't recall?
They were heading west. They had to walk to their car. It was parked all the way over by the Metro PCS.
Okay, it was
Or not Metro PCS. It was the Metro by T-Mobile.
the Metro by T-Mobile place. Okay, so
Yes.
and let's see here. Could you tell us what happened after they left?
Well, after they left, there was a gunshot. And everyone just kind of went crazy. Everybody was running around trying to save their own lives, and yeah, that's what I.
Okay, and then do you remember seeing the car in question, the car that we're talking about, the one that ran over both Miss Candy Smith and Johnny Smith?
Yes, but it didn't quite look like the car that. I don't think it was the car they had back whenever I was loading their lumber.
So what you're telling me is that it didn't look like the Morgan's car at all, the one that you remember seeing since when you helped them out?
No, sir.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor. Hello, Mr. Bauer. Could you please tell the courtroom your full name and let us know the reason for you being at this event on June 15th of this year?
Yes. My name is David Bauer, and I'm a photographer for the Herald Banner. And they asked me to get some pictures about the protest.
Okay, that's good. Could you walk me through this event and when you got there and what was going on?
Well, I was told to get as much as possible. So I got there around 11:30 in the morning since I wanted to make sure I was set up to get as many pictures as possible. There wasn't much going on when I got there, but I knew it was going to be near the courthouse, so I got set up around there. When things started to get going and I started to take some pictures, I wanted to stand outside of both sides to get some of the best pictures I could. After a while, I thought I was about done, so I decided to pack up.
Around what time did you start packing up?
Around 1:15.
Okay, and whenever you were packing up and looking around you, did everything look normal to you? Did anything seem off or upset you in any way?
Well, everything seemed normal when I left. Only thing I would say was weird was all the guns the anti-protesters had.
Well, looking back at it now, there was a gunshot that was fired, and I'm glad you're safe. Could you walk me through a little bit of what happened after you heard that gunshot fire?
After I heard the gunshot, I just see chaos from both sides, just running around, and I couldn't do much, so I just saw in awe from afar. Then I saw the car speed towards me. I was so close to the courthouse, and I did get a good look at the driver.
So would you say that it matched the description of the defendant?
No.
So the defendant in question, both Michael Morgan and and Alexa Morgan, were they the ones in the car? Would you say?
No.
No? Okay, thank you so much. Your Honor, we have no further questions.
Your Honor and members of the jury, today we were able to shed a bit more of a light on the events from the Black Lives Matter protests from earlier this year through 3 different perspectives. If it wasn't clear then, it's clear now. The Morgans sadly happen to have been in a terrible case of wrong place and wrong time. But that's still no excuse to charge them for these murder cases. A bit of a little insight into how lies on Lee Street and understanding how it's a one-way and knowing that it only goes west and that the Morgans were already headed west before the event actually happened, before Candy and Johnny Smith's lives were taken. They were already down the street. It would have been almost impossible for them to go all the way around in that short amount of time and still be able to run him over and get away. It makes no sense to want to do all that, to go from one place to another if you're just trying to get out of there. It doesn't make any sense to me, as it shouldn't to you. Today, we heard from members from both sides of the protest arguing for the Morgans to have their chance at a fair trial. Their testimonies not only help put the puzzle together, but helps us understand a bit better that it wasn't them. And that's the part that we saw transpire here today. The truth. The Morgans were never fully identified and were gone when the incident took place. There is so much justice in knowing today that when you're making your decision, that you're looking at the facts based on these testimonies. We shouldn't continue to search for ways to try and frame 2 clearly innocent people and threaten their freedom just based on a single witness. Today, we saw doubt in the prosecution's reason, and for that alone, you must vote to acquit. Justice dies when we stop believing in the facts and go against them. I trust that the jury today will make the right decision in acquitting the Morgans. Thank you, Your Honor, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.